Today we read a short story in the Your Turn book on page 173 and 174. Okay, and the title of today's story is called Giving Thanks Two Times. As you guys know that kids around the world or people around the world celebrate holidays in different ways, and sometimes countries have their own holidays with their own customs. Today we'll be reading about two holidays that have some similarities and some differences. Okay, so let's start. Giving thanks two times. It was a cool November day. The dim sun hung like a nickel in the sky. My friend Rico and I were walking home from school. I hugged my arms when I felt a breeze as sharp as a knife. Okay, so it was a nice and cold day, a cool day in November. And as it says here, the boy says that the dim sun is hung like a nickel in the sky. We completed Your Turn page and we talked about simile. Simile is when you compare two different things using words such as or like. Okay, so here the author is comparing two things. He's comparing the sun and a nickel, a coin, okay? And he's saying that the sun was dim and not bright, like a dull nickel, like an old coin, okay? My friend Rico and I were walking home from school, so they were going back home, and the boy says I hugged my arms when I felt a breeze as sharp as a knife. Here is another simile. Here the boy said he hugged his arms when he felt a breeze. A breeze like means a cool wind. Okay, that was so sharp as a knife. He's comparing the breeze or the cool wind to a knife, and that it was so sharp, almost as sharp as a knife. Okay, it says here in the second paragraph, that day at school we had studied Thanksgiving. We learned that the early settlers celebrated the harvest at this very time of year. They had a big feast to give thanks for all they had. My dad bought a turkey as big as a pillow. Are you having a big turkey for Thanksgiving? I asked Rico. He grinned wide as he answered, yes, we're having turkey. And we're having rice too. So, that day, the two boys studied about a holiday called Thanksgiving. They learned that the early settlers, the first people that came to settle in America, celebrated their first harvest. They celebrated the first time they gathered all the crops that they grew, and they had a big feast. We all know that a big feast is a table full of food, different kinds of food, and this holiday they do the same thing. They have a big feast, and then they thank God for what they have. So the boy was saying, or the character that was speaking said, my dad bought a turkey as big as a pillow. This is a third simile. Okay, so he said that here the boy is comparing between two things, a turkey and a pillow. And he's saying that his dad bought a very big turkey for their Thanksgiving dinner. So he asked his friend, are you having turkey too? And his friend Rico said, yes. And they're also having rice. Okay, on page 174, Rico explained that his family was celebrating Labor Day Thanksgiving. It was a holiday in Japan where his family had lived. He told me that this holiday was a harvest celebration just like America Thanksgiving. Both holidays are in November too, I exclaimed. Rico told me that last year he missed American Thanksgiving. He had spent Labor Day Thanksgiving in Japan. He was visiting his grandparents. He saw parades. There were display of fruits and vegetables like colorful rainbows. That was to give thanks for good crops, explained Rico. Okay, so Rico was explaining to his friend that his family celebrates a holiday called Labor Day Thanksgiving. And this holiday is celebrated in a country called Japan in Asia. And he says that this holiday is to is a harvest celebration. They also celebrate collecting the crops that they grow, and it's also in November. Okay, just like the American Thanksgiving. But he told his friend that last year he couldn't celebrate the American Thanksgiving because he spent Labor Day Thanksgiving in his parents' country, Japan, where he visited his grandparents. And he told him the things that they did to celebrate the holiday. So Rico told his friend that they saw parades and there were displays of fruits and vegetables like colorful rainbow. Okay, here is another simile, says that the table had so many colorful fruits and vegetables, just like a rainbow. So here the simile is comparing between fruits and vegetable and rainbows, that it was just very colorful like a rainbow. That was to give thanks for good crops. So Rico explained that the Labor Day Thanksgiving is to thank God for the good crops. You're lucky, I said. You get to have 2 Thanksgiving. Rico said, why don't you visit my family for Labor Day Thanksgiving? Then you can have 2 Thanksgiving also. So Rico invited his friend to come and celebrate Labor Day Thanksgiving, like the one they celebrate in Japan. So his friend can celebrate 2 Thanksgiving just like him. Okay, so on page 175, the first question, it says, how are Thanksgiving and Labor Day Thanksgiving alike? Okay, so I want you to reread or go through the text again and try to see how these 2 holidays are alike. Alike means how are they the same? Okay, so if you go back here, you'll see that they are both, first, the boy said both holidays are in November. So American Thanksgiving and Labor Day Thanksgiving are both in November. And he also said this holiday was a harvest celebration. That means they were to thank God for the good crops. So we can write for number 1 that both holidays are in November and they celebrate good crops or good fruits and vegetables that they grow. Number 2, how are Thanksgiving and Labor Day Thanksgiving different? Okay, so we can say that that the American Thanksgiving is celebrated in America and the Labor Day Thanksgiving is celebrated in Japan. Also, a similarity that I forgot to mention is that they both eat turkey. In both holidays, they eat turkey. How else are they different? I guess they are celebrated in different days. They are both in, we can write the differences here. We can say that Thanksgiving is celebrated in America and Labor Day Thanksgiving is celebrated in Japan. And they have different dates. They are both in November, but they have different dates. Okay, number 3. How do the narrator and Rico celebrate their holidays in the same way? We can say that both of them eat turkey for this holiday. Okay, that's a similarity. Okay, and they also celebrate it with their families. So the narrator and Rico celebrate their holidays with their family, and they also eat turkey. So these are the answers. Okay, that's why it says possible answer here or possible response. Okay, and that was the story that we read for today. Hope it was pretty easy.